guys, Nate Bright and Jenna Green here. Be sure to check out the OKC Edge. Definitely one of my favorites.
Absolutely, no question. Be sure to check it out.
Hey guys, Nate Bright here along with my partner and great friend Jenna Green.
Hi, everybody.
Of course, you know Jenna from Face Off Season 4. I do special effects as well, working alongside with Jenna Green. We've done films like Army of Frankensteins together. We've done multiple projects together, various cons and whatnot together.
What made y'all decide to get into special effects?
Oh, good question. I grew up watching films. A lot of kids nowadays probably won't be able to jump onto this. I hope they can. Growing up, we would watch films with all practical effects and sets and matte paintings and things like that. So that being said, the film that got me into everything really was a film by Jim Henson called Labyrinth. Watching something like that, even today, it sparks the imagination in a way that the films I do today can't even come close to. So you pair that along with films like The Never-Ending Story, The Dark Crystal. One of the more recent ones I can think that was a great imaginative film was Fifth Element. Things like that really got me into doing what I always grew up wanting to do. It just took me finally deciding to put that foot out, and I taught myself how to do everything. Jenna Green taught herself how to do everything as well, and from there we worked with it, we promoted ourselves. We have a good work ethic. If somebody says, hey, can you do this? Yeah, we can. And we do it. And it's worked out real well for both of us.
Absolutely. And my start, I think, honestly, the film that initially inspired me was Jaws. And to this day, I watch it every single time it's on. It's a weird addiction, but I watch that. That was my first inspiration. And then came films like Salem's Lot and The Exorcist, specifically The Exorcist, too. And Dracula, some of the classic films as well. And I started actually just playing around with my mom's eyeshadow, and instead of putting it on my eyes, I was making bruises with it and whatnot. And graduated to like pastels and watercolors and stuff, and then Elmer's glue on my face, peeling off, whatever. And that's how it all started. And I really didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I really had fun doing it. And then as I got older, it just progressed into something else. And then I started getting involved in different haunted attractions and whatnot, and doing it there. And then a director took a chance on me, and then it all changed. And I've been doing films ever since.
So, what was it like being on Face Off?
I say it was the best and worst time of my life all the time. I say that a lot. And because it was a really amazing experience. It was amazing to work with really incredibly talented other artists. It was amazing to challenge myself. I went in pretty naive though, and it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. It was like Christmas every day, going into the lab and having all these things at your disposal that you don't typically get to use just right there. So that was awesome. The worst part is being on the elimination stage. Feels like you've been gutted. So it was a great time and a very difficult time.
What would you say you learned from the experience?
Wow, what did I learn? I'd have to say I learned a lot of different mold making skills that I was not aware of, or had never tried myself, out of like fear of it not working properly. I just learned, I don't know, there was a lot of different things. I got to learn with a lot of products, I worked with a lot of products I'd never used before. So I learned a lot just using those products and what works and what doesn't work. And I just learned a lot about myself, honestly, to the point of, I really learned that I wasn't willing to give up, and I was going to go out swinging no matter what. There was a lot of different capacities in which I learned things.
Okay. Can you kind of bring me into your creative process as far as when you're making your films or when you're doing your makeup and all that?
You know what? I don't know that there's so much a process. If I had to say it was anything, you gather an idea originally.
Conceptualize, yeah.
Yeah, you conceptualize, and then from there it goes to absolute hell. You know where your start point is, and I rarely finish exactly with what I've conceptualized or come up with in the beginning. There's a lot of, you get it and then you piece it together once you get your idea. So you build upon it as you go along. I've done a lot of as I go along type things. I'm not saying everybody does that. There's probably somebody out there who plans meticulously.
There are, and I've done a few of those. But the ones that are actually a little bit more fun for me is like a film I just did where I did prosthetics on a character for a couple of days, and then they decided they needed to reshoot, and I didn't have any more of the prosthetics I was using. So I basically took multiple pieces of prosthetics and tore them up and puzzle pieced them together so that they would work, and they wound up looking almost identical to the original piece. So that was a challenge, but when I did it, I was like,
I saw another one recently where an artist did that.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I made that work.
Characters,
so I was kind of proud of myself for making something that I didn't think could work. So.
What would you say the ups and downs are of being in the business?
Well, I think for any artist, whether it's in the business or anything, you have to take the good with the bad. People praise you, people also hate what you do. So, I don't know, I think one of the things that I dislike the most is I'm the kind of person that I like to be friendly with like everybody, and I like to be open, and I like to communicate. And I've had the opportunity where I've come across other people in the industry that just don't want to give you the time of day, or give you any advice or anything like that. And that to me is really frustrating. I mean, I get where they're coming from, but it's still fairly frustrating.
I'll agree with Jenna on that one. The worst would probably have to be people who just have that holier than thou attitude. And you see it and you hear about it and you're like, oh, there's no way people can really act like that. And for the most part, they don't. I mean, there's, I'd say there's probably only a good 2% of all these people that actually have that kind of mindset. The rest of them are absolute joy and pleasure to work with. So as far as the good, I mean, everything is great about it.
Yeah.
As far as the bad, everything sucks about it.
Yeah.
I'm not lying when I say there are literally, where we will go an entire week without sleep. I mean, it's Red Bull and whatever to the rest. I can't tell you how
functioning on a lick and a promise.
Yeah, if anybody's watching, if any energy drink companies are watching, we could use a sponsor.
NOS.
Yeah, NOS,
Cherry
absolutely.
and grapes.
Cherry NOS, please.
Yeah.
You have a special concoction or anything like that you mix together that works better than these
just,
others?
just cherry and
Nothing
grape
illegal or anything like that. I mean, we're too old for that crap.
Yeah.
No, it legitimately is cherry NOS. Maybe one of those weird diet pills from Walmart or a gas station or something. That's about as hardcore as we get.
Yeah.
So you kids don't do drugs. Other than that, though, I really enjoy what we do. I have yet to do a project where I've come out on top and walked away with a substantial amount of money. I usually actually end up feeding more cash into what I'm doing than I am pulling away from a project. But I think that's where the love comes from.
Yeah, it is a very love-driven profession for me and for Nate as well.
It's a creative art, and in the end, when we get to see what we've done and we see how it comes to life based upon, whoever it's put upon acts it out, something like that is it's an incredible experience. I know I tell people this, my favorite thing about doing it, absolutely favorite thing is, and this goes for face painting or anything as well with children, or when you put this makeup on somebody or you do a transformation with face paint and they see themselves for the first time, and I don't care if they're wearing contacts or what, man, their eyes light up and there's an instant switch. Everybody, regardless of how comfortable with who they are and what they want to do in life, where they're at, we all want to be someone else, and when you are able to afford someone that opportunity and you can see it in their face, it's really awesome.
It is really awesome.
So,
I was going to say one of the things that I dislike about the industry is that, and it's really not the industry, it's just the way it works out sometimes, where like the director's like, oh, I need you to do this, but I needed it yesterday, and you're already like juggling 1,000 different things. You're like, how am I going to work this out?
Oh, what about the favorite? I want this just like this, and then you do it. It's like that's not anything like what I wanted. So
yeah. I mean, so there's this pros and cons, but overall, it is a very, very, very. I mean, it's very close to my heart, and very, very special and very important to me. And Nate and I can both agree that no matter what we do, we learn something new every single day.
Oh God, every time.
Every time.
I forget it. I forget it by the next time it rolls around. So I get to relearn it constantly. It's like having a fantastic Alzheimer's almost.
Do you have any future projects that you're allowed to talk about?
Nothing I can mention right now. I know that I've got a couple films I'm about to work on. I'm always doing commercials locally. I do various events for schools, city functions, things like that. I'm always down to help out with charities and everything. So I've always got something, in the barrel.
Yeah. Same thing with me. I do some commercials. I'm working on a television show, which I probably shouldn't name at this point. And another one coming up. I'm working on a huge film coming up next year, hopefully, if that all pans out. And when I say huge, I mean huge. Huge. So hopefully all the ducks will be in a row and everything falls in line and it will be.
I can leave you guys with this. Our film that we recently finished together, Army of Frankensteins, is receiving its Japanese release on August 2nd.
Yeah.
So hit up Amazon.com. Army of Frankensteins, not Frankenstein's Army, which is another fantastic film by our friend Richard Rapphorst. But Army of Frankensteins, I'm fairly certain it'll be available on Amazon.com, and it's the Japanese release of it. I haven't seen it. I'm kind of curious to see how it translates. It's going to be quite awesome. The original film is fantastic, but man, I'm stoked to see Japanese. So
yeah, absolutely.
You have a main website that you'd like people to go to check your stuff out?
If you would like to keep up with us, the best way to do that would be to reach me on Facebook. You can keep up with me personally. You can follow along with projects, whatever I'm doing in the moment. You can look me up. Nate Bright, NateBright.
And Jenna Green, JennaGreent.